And the puppet. Oh, it's not a puppet. It's, I don't know what you have on your
Yes,
right.
it's
Yeah. Oh, it makes
That's
sound. Nice.
yes, and it also doesn't fall. Whoops.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, it did fell.
It has to be. It has to be on the recording. It has to be there.
Olá, bem-vindo. Welcome to the Beast International Film Festival. It's the 4th edition that's taking place 24th, 28th of March online, and when it's possible, we'll do physical screenings in Porto as well in cinemas. My name is Bohdan Zhuk. I'm part of the team of the festival, and as part of the program, we have Visegrad Film Hub. It's a selection of films from the 4 Visegrad countries that are Poland, Slovakia, Czechia, and Hungary. And one of the films we are glad to screen in this program is I Never Cry by Piotr Domalewski, and he's the director, writer, and I think producer of the film, co-producer. And so yeah, thank you, Piotr, for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you for having me there.
My first question is, your film is a pretty uncommon coming-of-age story, I think, because it's set amid this with the subject of labor migration and the Euro orphans, so-called. Why did you decide to set it in this environment and with the background of this issue?
Oh, well, to be honest, I'm kind of familiar with this environment, this special situation, because I'm from Eastern Poland, which is how to express that, which is touched by emigration, like mostly in our country, because usually people from my part of Poland, they are emigrating. So that's the first issue, and that's the first reason. And the second thing is that my brother is an immigrant. He lives in Scotland, and it's a thing that interests me for a really long time. And I'm discovering this whole situation with him step by step, during his process of assimilating, changing his job's country and getting familiar with the different culture and so on. So that's the second reason.
And as far as I know, you partly at least based it on a real life experience of your friend, I think, whose parent died.
Yeah.
In was there any other, well, could you tell us a bit more about this, and maybe there was some other real life inspiration for the story along with your brother's experience?
Well, they were actually, it actually bases on two different things, because first one is this inspiration that took place in real life, as you mentioned. It's basically, and the basic level, it's a story of my friend. And when I heard that story, I thought that it's really touching, and I thought that this is a good base for making a film. And the second source of my knowledge about the subject is that I have 4 younger sisters, and somehow I wanted to express their experience in growing up and dealing with life and with family and everything. So they are like two sources of it, I would say.
So this is sort of an estrangement from between parents and children, and maybe the difference between different generations. That's also of interest for you.
Yeah, I think so. You can see it. You can see it in the film, because the way her mother is dealing with it is like, she is a victim of the life, fate, and system. And main protagonist, she is also a kind of a victim, but she's trying to fight with the fate, with her life. She's trying to be strong, and she stays strong till the end. I think that's the thing that I wanted to express in the film.
Mm-hmm. And did you also do some research about labor migrants, in particular maybe to Ireland and the UK from Poland?
Yeah. I made a really strong and precise research, not only about numbers, but what is most interesting for me are the particular stories and situations, and everything that immigrants had to deal with. I had to scout and search the whole thing about getting the body from different countries in the European Union and from all over the world, which was kind of depressing because basically I had the knowledge from stories that people were describing on some blogs or whatever, and they are always trust me, in this research I could find like several subjects for a movie. So you can imagine how big and impressive drama is always connected with those things. So it only intrigued me and how to say that made me solid about this direction in making this movie, that it's happening for real. It's not something that I just wrote on a paper and it's not connected with the reality. That is a reality of many people.
And it's also, I understand, the continuation of your previous film, because you touched on that subject as well in Silent Night, your first feature.
Yep.
So that's the subject
that you
were...
Yeah, I would say that it's a kind of a continuation of exploring the subject. The second film, I found it interesting to talk about that topic, but from the different angle. That I wanted to take the viewer, the audience there, to experience this promised land that all those people are going to, and to face that promised land, which actually appears not to be that promised.
And your main actress, Zofia Staffiei, if I pronounce it correctly, I hope, was really a great choice for this role. Could you tell us a bit more about the casting, how you found her and how you worked with her, especially that she's a newcomer?
Yeah, that was a difficult from the very beginning. The first and the most difficult thing for me in this particular case was to convince the producer that we need to cast the beginner, the actress that would be similar age to our protagonist, because actually what is usually happening in films, especially in high school American films, you can see 30 and more year-old people playing teenagers, which always make me laugh, and it's completely unrealistic, and it's like breaking whole the picture from the very beginning. But I was just, the value of the film is how much you can believe in the character and how much you can get involved in the whole circumstances and obstacles that she's dealing with. And I was really focused on finding somebody that would take us as viewers to this particular emotional situation. And it was really, we made a first, we were like self-tape audition. There were like I think 1,200 applications. That was really difficult process, because you can imagine if you cannot contact with the person face to face, it's always something really difficult to choose. And we made a short list about 50 young actresses, and Zofia appeared that, and that's pretty much it. She, from the very beginning, she was really, I found her really rough, tough, but also emotional and sensitive. So I thought that this combination of those how to say that, different, completely different angles of feelings can help us to create the main character, the Ola.
Mm-hmm. And talking about the main character, who's really such a great and powerful character, and she's fascinating to watch, was it difficult for you to write this character, a female one? Was it any different for, like, if you were writing a male one?
As I mentioned, it wasn't difficult. Actually, it was kind of a pleasure, because I could put all my observations as an experience from living in the same flat with 4 younger sisters. So I could basically, as usually writers or creators have the model for the main for the role, for the characters. So I could pick something from 4 different people, which I knew very, very well. And that was kind of interesting experience, because Ola swears like one of my sisters, smiles and joking like one like a different sister, smoke cigarette like a different one, have this she has this melody of speaking like another one. So it's like a combination of 4 of those characters, which is a pleasure. And my sisters really loved film, so I think the job was done well, I hope.
That's nice to hear, yeah. Was it difficult co-producing with Ireland and filming in Ireland? How was that process?
It was difficult at the beginning. I mean, to deal with all those formal things. But Ireland is in European Union, which is much easier because we are in European Union too. And of course, it was expensive for us because let's be honest, it's like 4 times more expensive than in Poland to make films there. And it's a common truth. I'm not actually, and our budget was a Polish budget, so we can imagine that we had to be as creative and as consequent as it's possible. But then it appears that the Irish crew, they really loved the film, and they were like, I mean, what I found one of the best values of making this film, that we were working together so on such a good level. It was a pleasure to work with them, and I hope that it was a pleasure to work for them to work with us. But that was kind of an, how to say that, integrating experience for our both teams.
And one more thing, I suppose, that I would like to ask is about your following project, which is Sexify, a series for Netflix. That, at least on paper, sounds a bit different than what you did before. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
I mean, I cannot tell you any details because I'm, keep it confident, but I can tell you things that are actually allowed to say. It's a TV series about 3 young students of technical university, and they are developing and actually inventing the application that has to increase the female orgasm. Yeah, that's the log line, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and it's also it's of course there is this how to say that, social part of it, because I'm always focused on that, as you can see in my films. But it's, on the other hand, it's a comedy, which is, I hope that we were able. I mean, me as the writer, producers, and co-director, that we were able to show and to deal with some, Polish cliches and everything, which can be interesting for international audience. So I'm really looking forward for the premiere and for the reception of the film, of the TV, of the series.
I think, well, I personally am looking forward to. So it's a completely Polish production set in Poland, right?
Yeah.
And when is it coming out?
26th or 8th of April.
Yeah, thank you very much for
thank you.
the interview. Well, we'll be looking forward to Sexify and to your following works. Thank you for presenting your film in our program.
Yep.
We are very glad to screen it.
Yeah, thank you for having it there, and thank you for the opportunity to show it to a wider audience, because, cinemas are closed right now, so it's difficult time for movies and for cinematography at all. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully many people will see it.
Yeah,
and not just here, but in other countries as well.
Yeah.
So this was Piotr Domalewski, and the director of the film I Never Cry, which is screening in our program as part of the Visegrad Film Hub at Beast International Film Festival, 4th edition, 24th, 28th of March. Thank you. Join us for other talks and watch more films.